So let me just preface by saying I know these past few months, and particularly probably these last 2 weeks, have been uh, difficult for you, and indeed I would say different than the rest of your residency. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's been brutal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been bad.
So I've received a lot of feedback from the attendees you've rotated with, and in fact, I've received phone calls, emails, of course, the evaluations that you've already had access to, and so my first question for you is just sort of how are you doing with all of that?
Honest, it's like I said before, it's brutal. I didn't sleep at all last night.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And yeah, when you find out there's been all this discussion about you behind your back, yeah, it's been hard.
Yeah, I can imagine it has been. So, what I want to know is, did anything particularly surprise you that you read or that you were told?
You know, there's so much. So, and some of the stuff that like is an assessment was just so petty. Like, let me tell you, this one portion in my assessment was she didn't use the right progress note template. I was rotating for 3 months. No one looked over and said, hey, we use this template. No, it comes in my assessment. It's the first time I find out about the template is yesterday. And apparently, I'm the bad communicator.
Anything else that you noticed in particular that surprised you?
You know, I try and come up with a good diagnosis, be firm with it, and defend my diagnosis. And honest, I guess it just all came off as
Arrogance?
yeah, I guess arrogant. And you know, I read one of those emails and it said that I called the nurses liars.
Yes, tell me about that.
Well, first up, not true. Did not call the nurses liars.
Okay, but you were directly quoted.
This is so unfair. To quote me, and I don't even have an opportunity to defend myself. I'm sure it didn't go down that way. It's just, you know, it was just the way they were representing things, and I'm sure I didn't use those direct words.
Well, so then, but why do you think that happened?
You know, like I said, I didn't sleep at all last night, so I spent a lot of time thinking why this happened, and you know, I think maybe at the beginning of when I got there at the VA, there were some times where there was miscommunication, and then all of a sudden I was labeled the bad resident. And like, once you're the bad resident, it's easy to find things, and it was just like a pile on.
Okay, so tell me, when